CIET NCERT presents audiobook Kriti, textbook of arts for grade 7.
Chapter 1, Theatre, page number 1. The cover page describes, on the top, the different forms of theatre through the beautiful photographs. When an actor expresses emotions of a character, it evokes equivalent changes within the actor's body and mind. Written by Arangetram Kathai from the Tamil epic Silabatigaram by Ilango Adigal in Sangam literature. Page number 2. Note to the teachers. Dear theatre teacher, as we work together to build the spirit of theatre in children with creativity, fun and joy on the one hand, and hard work, rigor and discipline on the other, here is a note that intends to share the vision of this textbook with you. The theatre section for grade 7 has been written to take the children to the next level of understanding from grade 6. It blends numerous activities along with the theoretical knowledge of the concepts introduced. While they get foundational knowledge and the historical understanding in the text, the activities included in it enhances their confidence and skills. Here are some requirements to ensure theatre classes are fruitful and enjoyable. Free space to work. The primary requirement of the children is to move around freely as they do their activities. It is, therefore, important to have a free space where children explore the possibilities and try various activities without hindrance. Connect to real-world applications. The content in this book aims to make learning relevant to their everyday lives. From building empathy and acceptance through emotions, to enhancing discipline, planning and management skills through backstage activities, theatre can have a role to play in everyone's lives. As a teacher, if such references are brought up in classroom discussions, it would make the lesson much more fruitful. Assessment. This is a crucial part of the entire process of studying theatre in school as a mainstream subject. Though it is important to have marks or grades like every subject, it is essential to keep the spirit of theatre intact and not reduce it to a mere pen-paper exam with a question paper. The final outcome or presentation is not the only benchmark. The efforts, thoughts, and processes behind it also need to be considered along with this. Knowledge application, effort and participation, creativity and presentation, teamwork and collaboration. Read the section on time allocation and assessments at the beginning of the book for better clarity. Assessment for theatre has been planned in different levels as mentioned below. Page number 3. Formative assessment. This is to be done in class after completing the activities and chapters at 2 levels. Circle time. The process followed after every class and every activity. The teacher sits with the students in an informal setting (bracket) to get honest responses from children (bracket closed), to ask questions about what they did. They share their thoughts and experiences based on which the teacher makes notes about each child. Some questions are given in the textbook. The teacher can explore more questions based on the response of the class. Brain booster. Practical activities have been provided for the children to try what they have learned in the chapter. The outcome of these could be used to assess the children and fill in the rubrics provided. Outcome of each activity is not about how good or bad the final product is. Rather, about whether the process has been understood well and the skills are well developed. Rubrics. Upon the completion of each chapter, a rubric has been given with the desired learning outcomes that the teacher can mark. The children are also asked to give grades to themselves based on their perception of their performance in that chapter. This self-analysis can also act as a feedback for the teacher. Summative assessment. This will be an activity-based test conducted at the end of the year. The activities need to be a combination of the lessons learned during the year. The assessment is conducted at individual and group level to assess different skills and competencies. A sample set of activities has been given at the end of the section. Referring to the text written in the green cylindrical shape. Circle time. Point number 1. Share move examples of pictures, paintings, or other instances where you have seen emotions. Point number 2. If you were given the work of creating such a temple, how would you prepare for it? Point number 3. How much time would you spend practicing it? Can you apply it to your work in school? Page 4. Chapter 1. Understanding Emotions. On the right side of the page, there is a QR code. When we scan the QR code, it leads us to the additional sources of this chapter. On the left side of the page, you can see a mask in green color portraying the emotion of happiness. Emotions have always played a very important role in our lives. Since time immemorial, we have tried to understand the depth of what, why, and how emotions exist in our lives. As the Sanskrit line from Bharata's Natya Shastra says, Evam rasascha bhavascha natake smritaah ya evametan janati sa gachetma siddhi muttamam. Natya Shastra, Bharat Muni, Chapter 7. In the performance of a play, feelings, sentiments, mood, thoughts, and state of mind need to be created. Only when one knows this well, the play will attain success. On the left side of the manuscript, you can see a dancing posture based on Natya Shastra. You will learn, point number 1, emotions in different intensities. Point number 2, Lokadharmi and Natyadharmi, meaning realistic and stylized. Point number 3, representation in ancient architecture. Page number 5. It implies emotions are the most important thing to connect, not just for the audience, but people in general. It is, therefore, crucial to understand how emotions work in order to make the right connections and live a positive life. Let us do a quick recap of what we have learned so far. On the left side, you can see the different emotions being displayed by the little children. In the previous year, we discussed about the concept of Point number 1, bhava, the inherent attitude and state of mind of the individual. Point number 2, rasa, the feeling that is felt in a situation as a result of the bhava within. Point number 3, experiencing 2 or more emotions in a situation. Point number 4, your feelings being different from your friends in the same situation. This comes under understanding emotions. Expressing emotions, Navarasa, Indian view on emotions, tragedy comedy, Greek view on emotions, game of hot seat combines storytelling and emotional expression, mask making, emoting through masks. Page number 6. Based on the concepts we already discussed, we shall now go deeper into understanding and expressing emotions. As we have already learnt, Bharat Muni researched and analyzed to conclude that there are 8 predominant emotional experiences, and the 9th was added later, making it the Navarasa. With our own little research and understanding, we can add to this knowledge. Sounds exciting? To start with, let us pick one rasa. Now, list or draw different levels of that rasa or emotion. Point number 1, fill in the blanks. Point number 2, fill in the blanks. Point number 3, fill in the blanks. Also, there is given a box right next to it. Here is an example to demonstrate this. Rasa, Raudra or anger. Different levels. Mild anger, very angry, rage. Here we are looking at different levels of intensity of each emotion. To understand this better, let us play a game that will let you think about each emotion as you have fun with your friends. Given on the right side is a picture of a girl holding a board which reads, intensity is the measurable quality or degree of a property or condition. Page number 7, Activity 1.1, Emotional Corners. Every corner of the room is assigned different emotions, and anyone who stands in that corner has to express that emotion in speech, facial expression, and body language. Placards or posters are placed at different places to identify emotions. It starts with all children standing at the center of the room. Play a trial round to understand better. Trial round. The placards are placed in the room as shown. Children shall stand in the center, ready to start. Given in the figure is a rectangle portraying all the 9 rasas. Starting from the left side, hasya, humor, comic, bibhatsya, disgust, karuna, sympathy, sad, raudra, anger, veer, heroic, courage, bhayanaka, fear, scary. In the center, shringara, joy, beauty, love, and adbhuta, surprised. Instructions. Each of you take turns to go to an emotion of your choice, say 1 or 2 lines that depict the feeling, and act it out as well. Example, one child chooses Veera, stands in its place, depicts it in voice, expression, and action. The next child chooses a different emotion, stands in its place, depicts it in voice, expression, and action, and so on. On the right side, you see the picture of these kids displaying the emotion of Veera. Page 8. Now we come to the actual part. Since we are all familiar with the various emotions, let us start working on specific details of each emotion. Just like the example given on page 6, where anger has been shown in 3 levels, pick another emotion, discuss in class about its various levels, and make placards accordingly. You can even add a 4th level if you can identify it. Here is another example. Emotion, happiness. Levels. Point 1. Immediate gratification. You can get to eat your favorite ice cream. Point number 2. Personal achievement. You won a prize in a difficult competition. Point number 3. Help and connection. You help your friend with notes as he was ill. Point number 4. Ultimate good. You donate books and clothes to a nearby orphanage. Now, with new names to the corners, everyone can stand in the center and play the game using speech, action, and expression. Repeat the same for each emotion. You can try doing it without voice. It will help in focusing on expression and body language. You can skip action to focus only on voice and expression. All variations with all emotions can be explored in the class. The figure on the right side is in a rectangle shape. It mentions the 4 corners. Starting from the left side, L4, ultimate good, L3, help and connection, L2, achievement, L1, immediate gratification. Note to the teacher. It is important to have a discussion among the children regarding the levels of each emotion. The children have to think and arrive at different levels each time. It may not be the same for every batch or class. Each group of children can arrive at different names and levels. There is no correct or wrong answer here. The teacher is advised not to give the names of the variable intensities to children, but only help and support them in arriving at the final names of levels. At the bottom right of the page is with a picture of a lady with a book. Page 9. Advanced. Now that you all have mastered the names and varying intensities of each emotion, let's try putting it in the form of a story. Now, the corners will only have names of levels. It could be the level of any emotion depending on the situation of the story. Example: once upon a time, there was a queen who ruled over a huge province in India. She fought many battles and protected her people bravely. Calls out Veerarasa, L3. The rest of the children go to L3 and emote it. One day, 2 children came to her and said they can defeat her easily. Calls out Adbhudarasa, L2. The children go to L2 and emote it. She laughs and agrees to the challenge. Hasya Rasa, L1. And so it goes on. Everyone can take turns in narrating stories. They can either be given time to prepare or have them say it spontaneously. They can also narrate popular stories of the Panchatantra or Puranas. On the right is the picture displaying different emotions by students. Bottom of the page on the left side is a note to the teacher with a picture of a man with a book. It is highly beneficial to ask each child to write the 3 or 4 levels of emotions as they perceive. Each child would have their own experience that would determine this. It is important to have every child think on their own for better self-awareness and actively participate in the group for peer validation. Emphasizing the importance of voice and volume to convey emotions will help in better communication and enable children with visual impairment to connect better. On the right side is a cylindrical shape in green color. Circle time. Point number 1. How many new additions did you make of Bharat Muni's list of emotions? Point number 2. Do you think you can have more than 3 or 4 levels of intensity? Point number 3. What are those emotions? Point number 4. Do you actually feel or experience the emotion and its intensities as you express them? Or is it just external? The picture below demonstrates a teacher with her students. Page 10. Exploring expression styles. As you played the game of emotional corners, did you notice how each one of you had a different way of showing the emotion? Though the situation and the feeling was the same, why is it that some people close their eyes when they are scared and others open their eyes wide in the same fear? Below is a picture displaying a boy with closed eyes and the girl with eyes wide open in fear. List a few other examples where you think the same emotion was shown in very different ways in the table in the next column. Add more lines if you need to write about more emotions or styles. But it is important to observe others intently before doing this exercise. You can also include actions, body language, and sound, voice under styles. On the right side is a table with 3 columns: emotion, style 1, style 2. Under emotion, it is fear, bhayanaka. Style 1, close eyes tightly. Style 2, open eyes wide. Under emotion, there is anger or raudra. The other boxes are empty. What are these styles of expression? Is acting and performance also categorized into different styles? What is it based on? Read on to get all your answers. Page 11. Styles of acting. Acting has been explored by many experts and artists across the world for many centuries. The style of performance usually depends on their local culture. But there are few styles that go beyond this and are universally followed even to this day. Some of the ancient cultures that created their own styles are mentioned on the right. In the pictures on the right, do you see the variety in the styles of presentation? Each one looks completely different from the other. You see variety in costume, properties, music, dialogues, and even the kind of stories they tell. With so much variety, how do we find styles that can be applied universally, no matter where it is performed? This is achieved by creating styles that are more natural and closer to real life. Brecht style and method acting are some examples. Now, look at these pictures and try to identify the country or the culture. It is difficult, right? It could be any part of the world, but mostly set in the present context. So, these styles are very different when compared to the previous set of culture-based style. These styles are based on techniques of acting and direction that can be applied to any script or story. You will learn in detail about these styles in the upcoming grades. On the right side of the page, the first image is Japan in Southeast Asia. The second picture is some parts of India. The third picture is the Brecht style. The fourth picture is method acting. Page 12. As we have observed, there are two major styles of acting. Point number 1. With elaborate costumes, makeup, and music, dramatic acting, bigger gestures, and loud voices. Point number 2. Costumes and makeup that are close to everyday life, minimal music, actors in their normal behavior. Do we have names for these? Who gave them these names? As we studied in grade 6, more than 2500 years ago, Bharata Muni, a great sage from India, studied, researched, and analyzed the performing arts and defined all its elements. Though it was written 2500 years ago, we still use it today as it is still relevant. The level of detail and expertise in his work Natya Shastra is astonishing. The two styles as defined by Bharata Muni are Natyadharmi and Lokadharmi. Natyadharmi: bigger, exaggerated movement, over-the-top expressions, loud music, elaborate, bright costume and makeup, lots of jewelry and accessories. Lokadharmi: perform like in real life. Actions, expressions, costumes are all natural and resemble reality. It appears like the situation is naturally happening on stage and not acting. The picture given here, identify which of these is natural, Lokdharmi, and which of these is exaggerated, Natyadharmi. Page 13. Here is the actual stanza from the Natya Shastra that talks about natural and stylized acting. Lokdharme natyadharme dharmite to dvividhah smritah भारते सात्वते चैव कैशिक्यार्भटे तथा. 24. Natyashastra, Bharat Muni, Chapter 6. Meaning, practice of representation, dharmi, in a dramatic performance is twofold: lokadharmi or realistic, and natyadharmi or theatrical. Activity 1.2. Pick your style. This activity is done in order to get familiar with the two styles of acting. Keep a few chits prepared with simple actions written on each one. Example: walking on the road with many potholes, taking a gift out of the bag, eating your favorite chocolate. Basic. A set of folded chits are kept on a table. Each child picks up one chit, reads the action written on it. The child gets to choose if it wants to do the action in a natural style or stylized. All children get a chance to try realistic acting, stylized acting, or both. Advanced. Another set of chits is kept alongside this set of actions. It has realistic, stylized, and both written in them. The children pick one chit each from the two bundles and follow what is written. They can try multiple times with different combinations each time. On the right side, in the cylindrical shape in green color, is shown a teacher with her students. Circle time. Point number 1. What are the differences observed in both styles of acting? Point number 2. Which method is more effective? Why? Point number 3. Share examples of where you have seen stylized acting, movies, TV, etc. Page 14. As we discuss the representation of stylized art forms, the first thing that comes to one's mind is the rich and beautiful sculptures and carvings we see on the walls of ancient buildings, including temples. Can you recall some of the artistic carvings that you have seen recently? Name of the building? Fill in the blanks. Location? Fill in the blanks. Name one unique thing you remember about the artworks. Fill in the blanks. This brings us to the next part of exploring emotions. Ancient architecture. The uniqueness of Indian culture is that though such heritage sculptures are ancient, but they are still relevant and apply to everyday life. Indian architecture, with its breathtaking sculptures, serves as a timeless gallery of human emotion, depicting the essence of Navarasas in stone. Every part of the country has these sculptures in different styles that also represent the dynasty and its history. Each building, temple, and sculpture has a unique story to tell. The sculptures depicting emotions have stories that have more emotions hidden within them. Here are some of them. Given on the right side is a sculpture of a young boy, Sala, fighting a lion. What emotion does it evoke? bravery, and courage. Veer Rasa. This is from the Chena Keshava temple, Belur, Karnataka. The Hoysala dynasty that ruled the place got the name from this, Hoysala, meaning kill the lion Sala, 1006 to 1346 CE. Page 15. A sculpture of Dwarapalika, guardian of the entrance. The emotion it evokes? Fear. Does it look scary? This sculpture in Bhayanaka Rasa is meant to scare off the negative forces. You can see more such sculptures at the Brihadeshwara temple, Tanjavur, Tamil Nadu. This was built by the Chola dynasty, 815 to 1280 CE. Do you know? No binding agents such as cement or soil were used to keep the stones of the temple together. It does not even have the conventional foundation under the ground like most modern buildings. Yet, not only is this temple one of the tallest of its kind, it has also stood strong against earthquakes and storms for over 1,000 years. Given on the right side of the page is another sculpture. This is an interesting sculpture with 3 emotions in one. This is the Trimurti in the Elephanta caves in Maharashtra. It has 3 faces of Shiva, each depicting a different emotion and a meaning: creation, sustenance, and destruction. This was built during the Rashtrakuta dynasty, 755 to 975 CE. Page 16. Activity 1.3. Find a picture. Find a picture of a temple structure that you have seen and paste it in the box below. Write about the emotion in the sculpture and the story behind. Given is an empty box. Dedication of a lifetime. If you notice the time period, all these sculptures that are artistically perfect have survived for hundreds of years, while today's buildings might not even last a few decades. What is the difference? The time and effort put by every individual artist involved in making these sculptures was wholehearted, as they believed this was God's work. Even a mirror scratch or a glitch was considered bad, as nothing could go wrong in God's work. That was the level of dedication. It was never considered as just a job for which a salary was paid, as it is the case today. Here is an interesting story that tells us about the level of dedication the artists had. It is believed to be true. Master craftsman Jakanachari was ordered by the Hoysala king Nripahaya to build a grand temple. His dedication to work was such that he left home and immersed himself in making sculptures. It is said that he chose each stone after a blessing from God. He had stayed away from home for so many years that he didn't know anything about his family. One day, a young artist joined his team and immediately spotted a major flaw in one of the stone statues. Page 17. A flaw by Jakanachari was unheard of, as he was a perfectionist. But a test was conducted and a cavity was found in the navel part of the sculpture where a frog was living. This was a huge blow on the great artist's work. As promised, he cut off his hands as he considered himself incapable of the god's work he was assigned. It was later discovered that the young boy was none other than the artist's son, Danikachari. Hearing this, Jakanachari felt proud and thankful for such a blessing of a dedicated expert son. He later took over to complete the temple work. It is also said that God blessed him to regain his hands, and the father-son duo completed the temple in Belur, Karnataka. We still look up to these works in awe. Do you think any of today's buildings match the kind of detailing and artistic work done in those days? It was all possibly only through the dedication, commitment, and persistence of thousands of artists. Given in the cylindrical shape in green color. Circle time. Point number 1. Share more examples of pictures, paintings, or other instances where you have seen emotions. Point number 2. If you were given the work of creating such a temple, how would you prepare for it? Point number 3. How much time would you spend practicing it? Can you apply the same to your work in school? Given is a picture of the teacher with her students. Page 18. Key takeaways. Lessons for life. Theatre and life. Have you noticed how many different people express emotions in different ways? While some may smile when they are nervous, others may become silent when sad. Theatre helps us understand these emotions and their ways of expression. This, in turn, helps in building better emotional understanding of others or empathy. Point number 1. As you play games like emotional corners or hot seat in grade 6, you learn that there is no correct way to feel or express yourself. As you observe others in the game, you notice that different people not only express differently but also perceive and experience situations differently. Your ability to understand and accept this will make you emotionally strong. Point number 2. These activities in theatre also help you understand that all emotions are equal. The stories you choose have situations of both humor and joy, as well as anger or jealousy. This is true in real life also. As the ancient scriptures and sculptures point out, it is important that we accept all emotions and express them freely without inhibitions. Just as theatre activities do not expect you to show only comic situations and leave out the unhappy ones, in life too, you must be able to experience, share, and express all emotions equally. But, as in theatre, it is important not to overdo anything. Theatre is not just about acting on stage. It is about feeling, growing, and connecting with people in better ways. This is called emotional intelligence. Just like theatre, life is full of surprises. But with empathy, confidence, and an open heart, you are ready to face anything. Given on the corners are the faces showing different emotions. Page 19, Assessment. Chapter 1, Understanding Emotions. Given below is a table with 5 columns. CG, C. Learning outcomes, teacher, self. Under CG1, C 1.1, Learning outcomes, identifies and expresses action, expression, and dialogue in varying intensities of emotions. CG1, C 1.1, Learning outcomes, can identify and recall sculptures or artwork that show emotions in expression and action. CG1, C 1.1, 1.2 shows empathy in understanding and accepting the differences in how a situation is perceived by the classmates and discusses on this. CG1, C 1.2 Learning outcomes, can build stories independently, connecting the various emotional levels and narrates it to class effectively. CG1, C 1.2 Learning outcomes, can distinguish Lokadharmi realistic and Natyadharmi stylized acting in action and expression. Teachers' comments and students' observations fill in the blanks. End of Chapter 1.
Kriti, you were just listening to this audiobook, Textbook of Arts for Grade 7. Narration, Richa Jain. Sound recordist, Virendra Rawat. Assistance in production, Soumya Malik. Directed and produced by Vimlesh Chaudhary. This audiobook is brought to you by CIET NCERT, New Delhi, India.